Hey guys, welcome back. Just wanted to go over a setup on the air compressor that I have. I used to have a 60-gallon single-stage Blackmax 5 horsepower tank that I used for quite some time, and I recently changed out to an 80-gallon Blackmax 2-stage that I've been using and really like. And no, they're not the quietest, but hell, it is a workshop. So any rate, like I said, this is an 80-gallon 2-stage, 15 CFM at 90 psi. It is your standard 140 175 cutoff. I do run synthetic oil in my compressor, for those who might want to know. And this is basically how I have it set up for my mechanical tools and my paint booth. Alright, now pretty much all this is 1/2 inch. It is galvanized. I should have went with black iron, but I already had this stuff, and I do run particle filters, so it ain't that big of a deal. 3/4 down to 1/2 inch through my main valve to shut off air to everything. If I need to do maintenance on the tank, I'll shut this off, bleed this, pop my valve at the bottom. Speaking of valves at the bottom, I have an elbow down at the bottom, 1/4 inch elbow, 1/4 inch air line, and basically I can just open my valve and blow all my moisture out. I'll be honest, with a 2-stage that runs longer and gets hotter, I don't get much moisture in my tank, which is really awesome, because in my single stage I used to get quite a bit, which is what led me to do some of the different setups that I've been doing, and this is probably going to be my final setup. The reason I have a valve here and not just a petcock valve is because from time to time, especially in my other tank, my petcock valve, when I would go to unscrew it and back it out, it would bleed, but it would get a little bit of trash, rust, whatever built up inside the valve, and then I'd have to pull the valve out completely, which meant pulling down the tank completely. Whereas with this, I can just pop this, and if there is any rust, trash, water, whatever, I just blow it out. So that to me worked out better than a petcock that I had to keep pulling apart from time to time because it would get crudded up on the inside. One of the things with that 60-gallon when I had bought it, and it was used just like this one's used, is that I had to pull the hose and petcock off the very bottom of the tank because there was so much crud in the tank. It gummed up the hose itself, because it couldn't blow that crap out. So to prevent that, that's one of the reasons why I use a valve here, a ball valve versus a petcock drain. So all the 1/2 inch galvanized, and I pretty much have the galvanized or 1/2 inch metal line so that my air can cool down before it gets to my hoses. Okay, basically we'll come out here. Any moisture that initially hits the pipe and starts cooling, it's going to run down, and I'll blow it out here. Okay. I go up and down a couple times, up through the elbow, back down. Down here at the bottom, there's another valve. So if I get any moisture between here and here, these are 6-foot sticks. Okay. If there's any moisture that builds up in these lines, it's going to drain down, gravity, and I'll drop it right there. So we come up again, back down, same thing. Any moisture that comes down this line here, alright, gravity's going to pull it down, and I'll pop it off that valve right there. We're going to come through here, through my desiccant filter. I do run desiccant beads. You can't really hear them. But desiccant beads, I run in there. These are the ones that are blue. They change pink when they need to be done. This actually is an oiler for compressed tools. we were going to throw it away at work because at Procter & Gamble they throw away a bunch of shit that works just fine, and it has to do with fiscal budgets and stuff like that. But anyway, we're going to throw it away, and so you know, I brought it home and dumped everything, cleaned the bowl, put desiccant beads in it, put it back in, and so now my air comes in, goes through the desiccant beads, comes back out, goes in here to my regulator. Regulator I got set to 90, which, you know, again cuts it down from 175, 160, somewhere around thereof, depending on where the tank's at. This line here is your standard 1/4 inch. Is it quarter? 3/8. 3/8 line, which goes to my, I have a 100-foot reel of rubber hose on the other side of this wall that goes to all my air tools in the shop. This hose here is a 25-foot hose, which goes to my paint booth. Okay, and on the paint booth, I run a much bigger desiccant filter, a much more high-quality desiccant filter. I can't remember the name of it offhand. It's used in industrial and laboratory settings. It's about a $200 desiccant filter, but it works really, really well. And then I have another regulator which takes it down to about 40 psi, and then I have gauges on my guns that cut it down, you know, to where I want it, which is typically 28 to 30 psi on my guns. So that's pretty much the setup that I have. I'll also do run a particle filter out on my paint booth also. So I got a particle filter and a desiccant filter. Yeah, that's all that's out there. So that's pretty much the setup that I have. This coupler here, I have a 6-foot hose that I just do a quick connect to with another hose that I use to blow out my air guns with once I've cleaned them with solvent and so forth. So really, really cool. Really happy with the 80-gallon setup, 2-stage, a lot more air than what I had initially. So anyway, just want to show you guys the setup, and you understand why I use the metal pipe. This is 1/2-inch pipe, and then I cut it down, you know, to 3/8 here, which goes to my paint booth and, you know, my shop air tools. So anyway, thanks for watching.